Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is going to be our 8th part of our e-commerce series, and in this video what we will do is that we'll continue our work on our cart management screen, and then we'll try to integrate some order info stuff as well. So without wasting any time, I'll just get back to the code. And now you can see over here that previously we had this thing implemented, and these buttons were not like working. We haven't like updated it so that like these buttons are functional. Okay, so in this video, the first part of this video would be to make these three buttons functional. So I'll get back to the code section, and inside my code section, the first thing that I'll do is that, okay, so over here what I'll do is that I'll create increment quantity. Okay, second function that I will do is that it will be decrement quantity, and that last element will be remove item. Okay, so I have these three functionalities that are already there that I need to do, and basically the idea is same. If we increment, we'll have our list of item model returned to the screen so that we can like repopulate the screen. And if we decrement, or even if we remove it, the stuff is same, like the state will be same. Okay, so what I'll do is that I'll start implementing, like I'll start working on this specific functionality. And for these specific functionality, what we will do is that we'll create another private function. Okay, and that private function is basically going to be update quantity. Okay, so this is pretty much how it should be done. We can get rid of the quantity as well, because quantity is already available in this over here. Okay, so what we'll do is that we'll use the same quantity model. Okay, so as usual, the first thing that we need over here is to go to use case and then create a new class, and let's call it update quantity use case. Okay, and this is going to be a simple class, right? And then we have some functionality like execute. Okay, other than that, what I'll do is that over here what we will use is we will use cart repository. Okay, that's something we need, and this execute method should also take cart item model as a model. And then over here we will use something like this. Okay, something like this. Okay, now the thing is that we have added this, but this functionality is not available like over here. So what we will do is that we'll just create an abstract function, right, like we have for other one. The only thing is that we want some more things to be done, like for update quantity we also want the response to be cart model as well, because that is how we want these things to done. Okay, add product will also return a cart model, result wrapper should also return and an update quantity should also do the same thing. Okay, that's one thing. One more thing is that this functionality is also supposed to return like we should return a result wrapper. Okay, result wrapper, and that is going to be cart, and it should be cart model, this. Okay, and over here we will return this, and this should also be a suspend function. Okay, like our other use cases, like these are something like this. I just like did it this way. We can also like use the same pattern that we have for other use cases, and we can just directly assign it like this. Okay, single line operator. Okay, so that is done. Our use case is done. Our repository is also implemented. It has this functionality, so I'll just use the same thing over here. And now I'll go to my data section, and inside data section into this repository. And when I get over here, it will ask me that, okay, we need to update this. We'll just implement the functionality that we have. I'll just like over here press alt enter, and then it will generate this functionality for me. And what we will do is that we'll do something like this. Now network service, if we look into network service, the network service doesn't have this functionality. Okay, So if I go to network service over here, you'll see that we don't have that. So what I'm going to do is that I'll add this functionality over there as well. Okay, so once I do that, it will get this issue fixed over here. Okay, but the thing is that this implementation needs to be updated. So I'll just get over here, implement and update quantity. Okay, so over here, this is basically the place where we would like to create our own structure for this, and that is something that we need to do. We have this add to cart request, which is pretty much the same thing, and from here what we will do is that we'll create the required stuff that it needs. Like it has product ID that we assigned, then it has product name, then it will need price that we will update, and then I guess what else do we have? It has price, quantities there, product name. Okay, that's done. Then after that, user ID, and that is going to be one. So this user ID, I have just kept it like for now, it's just hard coded. We'll update it once we implement our login and sign up functionality, but that's pretty much what we want. We have a put method, right? And this URL is going to be the same. We just need to give the cart ID to the user, and then along with cart ID, I just want to do one more thing, and that is going to be cart item model dot ID. Okay, so basically this is going to be the ID of that specific cart item that we want to update, and that's pretty much what it will do. Just one more thing that I want to do over here is that basically I have a couple of changes done on the backend, and for that I have released a v2 version. So we will just add this specific line to our base URL so that we can point to the other APIs. Basically the functionality will be just same. It's just like there are some other improvements that I've done on the backend. So that's why I have created some different endpoints for the updated version, and these kind of implementation also comes under that. So make sure to update it to v2 as well before using this. So now the update quantity functionality is done. Okay, so what we will do is that we will go to the use case. So for use case, we'll go to this do UI section, DI section over here, and over here what I'm going to do is that I'll create a factory for update use case. Okay, and that's like that, and that's pretty much everything is done. Now over here what I'm going to do is that over here I'll create another private use case for update quantity. So update quantity use case, that is going to be a wall, and now we have this. Okay, so now once we have this, what we will do is that we'll just use something like this, not like this, it will be view model scope dot launch, right? And then we will use just this is pretty simple, right? And what we will do is that over here we can also update the state as well. So we will be saying that before, let's do it loading, right? And over here it will return a result. So the result can be anything. So for results, like if it's a success, we'll just success it, else we will say that it's something went wrong and we were not able to add the data to the system, and that's pretty much how it will be done. Okay, and now over here what we will do is that it's basically pretty simple thing, and that is basically, so we'll create a cart item, right? And that is going to be cart item dot copy, and quantity should be done like this. Okay, so this is basically how we will be doing. Over here what I've done is that I've created a cart item copy, and then I incremented that quantity of it for increment, and we will use the same functionality for decrement as well, and that is going to be the negative sign for this. Okay, else everything would be fine. Okay, so now these implementation is done, and in terms of UI, this is only now what we need to do is that we need to call these from the screen. So what I'm going to do is that I'll go to my cart screen, and over here let's just find where do we have those plus like add button and then subtract button. So these are the buttons, and then you can see that they have this on clicks functionality is not there. So what I'm going to do is that I'll just make a couple of changes like on increment, on decrement and stuff like that. Okay, and that is going to be not like we don't want them to be default. Okay, and now let's just call these. So like on icon for remove, what we will do is that on remove dot something like this. For increment, we will do is that on increment item, and for decrement we will do is that on decrement item. Okay, so basically this is how it will done, and now we can see that what's basically this will start complaining because definitely it asked me to have these functionalities over here. And now over here what I'll do is that these functionalities I just like inside those will just ask our view model to increment, decrement and remove items. Okay, so I guess that's pretty much what we want. I'm just going to run this and see if the implementation that I have done is working. So I'll just run it, and right now you can see that in the cart section we can't update the quantity, right? But hopefully once this specific implementation is done and then we try to run it, hopefully this will uh, okay, yeah, okay. So basically you, if you remember, I added one more use case to cart view model, so we'll just add this one more get so that it can be injected using Koin. And now hopefully everything will be done. Okay, I can see that we have executed this, it's been running. And let's go to the cart section, and it went, something went wrong. Okay, so basically the problem over here is that there are some changes that we have done. Basically the response is getting fine, but uh, there are a couple of things that basically we need to fix. Like over here you can see there is some problem with our cart item. So basically the cart item, I just updated that. There are a couple of things that we don't need actually when basically using it. So what I'm gonna do is that I'll update my cart item, and my cart item basically don't need these two things. Okay, I'll just remove these two from there as well. Think I'll just run this again, and hopefully this time this should work fine. And this is for update quantity, we don't need this. Just get rid of this. Also we can get rid of this as well. This cart request should also not have these two things. So what we need is that we basically need just product ID and the quantity actually, but let's see if we need price as well. Okay, we're over here, let's see. Now you can see that we have this thing. Somehow I have two different products, not sure why, but let's just try to add one more quantity of this. And now you can see it's added. Somehow it, there is some problem with the backend, I'm not sure why, but you can see the quantity basically is working. Okay, so our first part is done. Okay, and the second thing is that I'm just curious, if I get rid of this as well, we should also be, there should also be no problem with that as well. Okay, so let me just try this. I can just use these two things over here. I can just get rid of this as well. Okay, so that what we need is that we'll just pass the product ID and the quantity to this backend, and then backend will handle it. This is the ideal situation. Our backend should do it this way. And in terms of sorting, that is also like we need to fix. I'll fix it on the backend. And now you can see that even after removing the price, it's working fine. Okay, so that's one thing. Now the second thing is that we need to get rid of sorry, we can implement the delete functionality. Okay, so for delete functionality, again, we'll do the same thing. I'll just copy this, and I'll just, okay, let's just copy, and over here we'll paste it, and over here we'll see delete product use case. Okay, so this is basically the same specific functionality. Will have cart repository, but over here what we will do is that we will say delete item. Okay, okay, it should contain, like, it should get only two things. One is the cart item ID, and the second one is user ID. Okay, so we'll use the same specific thing over here as well, and user ID. And now inside that repository, we'll just create abstract functionality, and it should return again. What we want is that we want that cart model, because that's how we want to implement it. So that's one thing. And this is going to be a suspend function like this. Okay, now once we do that, we'll go to the DI, and over here what I'm going to do is that I'll just say delete product use case. Okay, so that is for DI. Now over here we'll go to this cart repository implementation, and you can see that it's complaining now, so we'll use this and something like this. Okay, and now again, just create this function over here, create a suspend function, delete item with cart item ID and user ID in the result wrapper and stuff like that. So basically that's pretty much the same implementation that we did. And now inside this repository, like the service implementation, what we need is that we need to implement our delete functionality. Okay, so for delete functionality, what I want is that I need to create a URL like before. The first thing is going to be the base URL, then we have cart, then we will pass user ID, which is in our case right now it's 1, and then the cart item ID, the basically that we want to delete. And then over here, this is basically the HTTP method that we have for delete, and it will return as the cart model. Okay, and that is going to be the same functionality that we have. Okay, and I have already, like, if we go to the cart view model, if we go over here, you can see that I've already like done the other stuff. And over here what we will do is we will create private wall delete item, and that is going to be delete product use case. Okay, and now we'll just use the same view model scope dot launch. The first thing that we need to do is that we need to do, okay, I guess that's pretty much what we have done. And user ID for now, it's going to be 1, which is the use case. Okay, so we will first set the state to loading, and then we'll try to fetch the result from that. And once we get the result, we'll just show the data based on whatever we have received. That's pretty much what we need. And I guess now what we can do is that we can just execute this. And yes, again, we need to add one more get, because we have now 3 different use cases in the cart view model. So we need to inject those dependencies properly. And now you can see that I've just executed it, and hopefully when I come over here, let's just try to remove one item out of this, because we have these 2, and now you can see it just got removed now. Okay, so I guess that's one thing. There are a couple of things that we need to do before like implementing using this. Like over here, we need to make sure if our cart item, so like if cart item dot quantity is equals to a max number, let's say 10, we'll just return it. We won't allow it to add more than 10 item, right? And then if also you want this quantity is equals to 1, you'll also be returning, because you don't want 0 items to be added, like remove. It's like it doesn't make sense to add this. So like in that case, you'll have to remove that item from the backend. Okay, so this the other part is that now what we want to do is that we want to display a checkout response, or like a checkout summary, before order summary, before like processing it. So what we will do is that for that, what we need to do is that the first thing is over here inside this section, like over here in the model, you can see that we have this. So what I'll do is that I'll create a new class, and then for that I'll use my response that I have. So I'll just use this, and now this is going to be something like this. Basically this data is internal data, and then items are basically the checkout item that we already have, like these. And then this is subtotal, text, discount, shipping, and like stuff like that. Okay, and let's just call this order cart summary. Sorry, this is going to be cart summary for this. So we'll just create this. Now inside this cart summary, it created this data with the variable data name, which is not the right name for this. So I'll just rename it to something else. So let's just call it rename, and let's make it summary data. So a little bit something like this, right? And inside summary data, you can see that we have and now you can see that inside this, you can see this is a list of item, right? This is basically the same item model, so we'll just get rid of that item as well. So now we have this specific implementation done, right? And we'll do the same thing over here again. So we'll just create the same thing. I'll just copy this once again, paste it over here, and now this time I'm gonna say that cart summary response. Okay, and now you can see, okay, just rename it properly, response, right? And this data is basically not this data, it is going to be summary data. So let's rename this, refactor, and rename this, okay, refactor, rename, and let's call it summary data, or let's call it summary so that it doesn't conflict with our domain models. So now we have summary there, and then over here this is going to be cart item. Okay, and then we can get rid of this. And one more thing that we need to do and make sure over here is to make them serializable. Cart, like these are basically Kotlin serializable, so we need to do that as well. And I guess that's done, right? And now we need to do the same mapping like we have for the other stuff. So we'll just create something like this for our this one, and then again the same thing for this one as well, so that we can update it based on what we have. So yes, I guess that's pretty much what we have. And now we'll just create the use cases and start implementing the order info section. So over here, what I'm going to do is that I'll create a new Kotlin class, and let's call it so I'll call it cart summary use case. Okay, and this is going to be getting a repository. There are two ways we can use the cart repository as well, because this is again same thing coming from it, but we can also use the checkout section as well. But let's call it using, created using the cart summary. And then over here you can see that it's asking me for get user. I guess I also just need this user ID from there. So that's pretty much what we can do. And let's use the stuff over here like this. Now over here what I want basically is that I need a cart summary from this, right? So that it can give me the summary data and string like that. Okay, so this is done, right? We have this card repository done, and then we also need to update our network section as well, so that we can get this for that as well. So that's pretty much this is going to be card summary. Okay, so these things are done, I guess. Summary should be suspend function, yes, and the repository should also be a suspend function, yes. Now we go to the data section and we do actual implementation for that. For first I'll go to the repository, and now you can see that it's asking me to do this, and I'll do just like that, right? And now I'll go to the network implementation, and inside network implementation you can again see that it's complaining, so we'll do the implementation over here, right? So we'll do this, okay, and it's not going to be cart response, that is going to be cart summary response, and we'll do this. And this is basically, again, we have this URL which is cart slash user ID is the user ID, and then slash summary, and then we create a new web call using this URL, and then we'll also assign the mapper to convert it to the model that we get from there. So I guess that's pretty much for this. And now if I check, everything should be okay here. Yes, so our implementation is done till this point, and now we'll go to presentation section. And inside this presentation section, what I'm gonna do is that I'll create this new screen that we have. So inside these features, I'll create a new package, and let's call it summary, right? And inside summary, what we will do is that we can create two different classes. One is going to be cart summary class, right? Sorry, cart summary screen. That is going to be our composable screen. So we'll just make a composable here, and let's call it cart screen like this. And along with that, what I'm gonna do is that I'll create a new Kotlin class and call it cart summary view model. And this is going to be a normal view model. We'll just use a couple of extra thing over here like this, and along with that I'll also use cart summary use case as well, summary use case like this, right? And yes, I guess that's what we want over here. And inside this, again, we need some default states for that, so we'll just create another shield class over here, and let's say loading empty is not going to be there, it's just error or success. And in case of success, it's going to be our data class, and this is something that it should contain summary. So something like this, it should contain like this, okay? And yes, let's make them data class as well. We can also make it a class and assign an error message to this. So wall error string, so that it can give us some messages as well, right? And now inside this specific section, the first thing is that we'll create a state. So I'll say wall private wall UI state is equals to, sorry, it's going to be mutable state flow, and that is going to be something like this. We also want this to be generic, so we'll also add this call summary event to this, and now we'll just use this and we'll call it as state flow, so that it's not like that, right? And over here, now we will do is that we'll create init function, and this init function is supposed to be the something that basically it should use user ID and start fetching some data for us, right? So we were over here, what we will do is that we'll go to view models scope dot launch, and inside that the first thing is going to be the load. Second thing is that it's going to get summary. This is basically not like this. It should be when summary, and we'll say if it's okay, we just don't need, I guess, this try catch as well. Let's just get rid of this and this as well. Okay, so what we have done is that we'll fetch the summary, and if summary is like success, then we'll show success, else we'll show failure. So something went wrong, pretty much how we want it. And then over here I'm gonna say that get summary, and for now I'll just pass 1 because right now that is the thing, and I'll make it private so that it's not accessible from anywhere. Okay, that's done. Yes, I guess I've just missed one thing. Okay, so our view model structure is done. Now what we will do is that we'll create some UI screen for displaying the information that we have. So now over here what I'm going to say is that I'll say nav controller, and then we will be using view model. That is going to be Koin view model, right? And now that I've added it, we need to add it into the view model module as well. So we'll do this, and now we'll call it cart summary view model. And now you can see that it just takes one as one item, as one use case as a parameter. So I'll just use one, and also let's just add this use case as well to. So it's going to be cart summary use case. So I guess that's done, and everything is there. Our screen needs to be updated. So basically the cart screen is the way basically we want to display is this. Basically on top we have some sort of a header. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'll create a box on top, right? And let's make it filling like the whole width. So I'll use modifier dot fill max width, right? That's one thing. And now inside that what we will need is that we'll need a text. Okay, and this text is going to be cart summary, right? And what else we want is that maybe we want some styling for this. So I'll use material theme typography, and that's going to be title medium. Let's call it title medium, right? And now I'll use modifier dot align, and I'll center it so that it covers the center, right? And the height of this is basically going to be 60 dp, so that it just use that like this. Okay, so that's one thing. And now the second thing that we want is that the first thing is that we need to define our state. So I'm gonna say wall UI state is equals to view model dot UI state dot collect as state, right? And then pretty much what we want here, that is going to be our column, and this is going to be our circular progress indicator, and along with that we'll also show some text showing the loading, right? And now we will use some styling for that as well. Title medium, something like this, right? And we also want this yes, that's how it is. This looks good, right? And I'm just gonna add it inside a column because I just want these items to be there like this. So I just use a column, and I've centered everything, so the error message goes to center and the rest of the stuff also goes to center. So in case of success, this is done. In case of error, what I'm going to do is that I'll just use error message, and in case of success we will do is that we will create another composable, and now let's call it summary screen content, right? And that is going to be so many things that we want. Like for example, the first thing that we want is that we want a lazy column inside this. Okay, and that lazy column means that this is going to be some text, let's say, and call it products. Okay, and then we will have some items, and we need over here, so we need cart summary, something like this. Okay, so basically over here what we will do is that we will use this, and we'll use this dot data dot items. So we'll use this so that it shows the stuff over here, products, right? And then the next thing is that we need uh, some more stuff, like it can be, what do we want to show, what else do we want to show here, like it can be, what do we have, we have a subtotal. So over here what we will show is that we will show a currency. Let's create another composable, that would be fine. So function amount raw, okay, and it should take two things, something like this, and it should be a raw, okay, and the title should be this. But the only thing that we want over here is that the modifier dot weight is going to be 1f, and the reason is that we want this to take all the space and then recover based on only when it's needed, right? So it's going to be body medium, and over here for this we'll use title medium, because we want this to be a little bit bigger in a way. Okay, and now over here, so we'll use this and something like this, right? And maybe we can use a column here, column, so that we can add all these stuff into this. We have subtotal, we have shipping, we have discount, not this, it's going to be discount, right? Then we have, okay, we don't have the text, so we need to add amount row, that is going to be text, and that is going to be this, right? And then something like this. Okay, and what else we can do is that we can maybe do a couple of things, like we can add this, and then we can have some padding that is like 8 dp from each side, so that it leaves spaces from every side. And yeah, I guess for now that is enough. We just want one more composable over here, and that is going to be our product raw. Let's take cart item model over here. Something like this. Okay, so we'll use this cart item model dot product name, and then for this is going to be interesting one, because now we will use we'll have this cart item model dot price in dollars plus cross, right, x, that is another thing, and that is going to be cart item model dot quantity, right? And then we will show something like cart item model dot price multiply by cart item model dot quantity, right? Dollars. I guess that should be enough. We'll use currency formatter in like future, but for now let's just use these, and then over here we can just use this like something like this. And now we'll just use over here, we use this, and then we'll use okay. Now I guess we are done. We have everything there placed as we want. And now let's just add this to our main activity nav host over here and use it composable, right? Something like this, right? And then over here what we'll do is that we'll create that cart summary screen and we will pass the nav controller. Pretty straightforward, right? And over here what we need is that we need another screen. Let's call it cart summary screen, and we will add this over here. Okay, that's done. So once that is done, now we need to do is that when user click on that button from the cart screen, we want to navigate, right? So we have everything in place. Let's just find that button that we have. So hopefully we will have that button over here somewhere. This is the button, right? And now over here what we will do is that we will say nav controller dot navigate, and that is going to be something like this. Yes, so that's done. And now let's try to execute the code and see if all these changes that we have made are actually working. Okay, so I have this cart. I'll just add a couple of them so that we have like 2 items in the cart. Go back and maybe we can just add a couple more things. So let's just add this to the cart as well. And now we'll go to the cart. Now you can see I have 2 items of this, 1 of this, and then now I'll go to checkout screen. And now it says something went wrong, which means something went wrong in response, most probably. So we'll just go down to the section and it says 404. It says that cart /1/summary was not found, and it is correct because it's, for me it's not cart, it is the endpoint that I used was different. So where is that? This is the section, right? So over here what we'll do is that we'll use checkout screen. The only difference is that basically this is the mistake that I did. We should have used this. Now let's again go to cart. Now go to checkout. Failing again, which is weird. This time it did loaded everything, but there are something that basically failed, like in our case the image URL is required for type serial name, but backend didn't return it. So right now what I can do is that I'll fix this by using some like nullability, but I can update it. I'll update it from the backend as well so that it just get fixed. It should contain that image because we get all these details, just that one thing is missing somehow. So what we need to do is that we'll go to our cart item, this one, right? And then this, you can see that this image URL is like, it is nullable, but we need to set it as null as well. And for cart item model as well, we need to set it as null before we can use it. And now hopefully once I do that, this time we should be able to fix it. And yeah, the title also gets over here. It should go to the top of the screen, which is weird. It didn't. Okay, so now let's just see and then go to the cart screen. And over here now you can see that, okay, I got this product ID. That's the products. I have these two products, and then we have subtotal of something like that, and then the tax is there. Then we have shipping, and then we have discount, and then after that discount we have this total that we have. So we might want this to like make it look a little bit better in a way, but you can see that the data is coming. So let's just get like the screen fixed so that it looks better. And now this is something that we need to get started with. The first thing is that we have this box, everything is there. The only thing that I see that we need to do is that we'll align to the top and maybe top center, or yeah. So let's just create a box modifier dot fill max size. Okay, and we'll use this. Okay, or should I use a column, because I just want this stuff to be there. We don't want this, we just go to the top of column. And now we need this. Okay, this is going to be placed over here, and then we will use a box, or let's just create a button. The button should be simple button, right? And it should contain a text that says checkout. Simple. Okay, and what else? Let's just add some title as well to this. I guess that's pretty much. Just one more thing is that modifier dot weight is going to be 1f, so that it covers all the remaining stuff, all the remaining space that it have. And also for these buttons we want them to be like looks a bit better in a way, right? And for products we have this dollars added, but for the amount section it's just the amounts. So over here we can just add this dollar sign as well, so that it looks a bit better. We'll definitely fix on the like implement the currency formatter, but for now I guess we can get away with this, and I guess that's pretty much what we need. Yeah, just add some padding. Maybe padding from all sides should be 16.dp, so that it just leaves some space from the sides. The title will go to the top. Okay, this is something that came wrong. So the thing is that the title will go to the top, right? And then the rest of stuff will go to the center, and then the bottom, in the bottom we will have that image that we have. So I hope what I'm thinking is right. And yes, now you can see this, everything is much better in a way. We have these products, and inside that, and this checkouts button is in the bottom because that's where we want it. So much better, but it's not fixed yet, so let's just get that fixed now. And the first thing that over here that I want is that I want this to be fixed fill max width. That's one thing. Second thing is this column that we have should not have that, so it should be something like this. And so what I want over here is that maybe I can make it a box, right? And then this is going to be modifier dot align, that is going to be center, and I'm going to use the same thing for this as well. so that it goes to the center of the screen, and the rest of the stuff should be managed accordingly. We might also want some spacing to this as well, so we'll just like for product raw, I guess there are some spacing. I'm not, if I'm not wrong. Yes, over here we can add some another text maybe like this. So right now it says product. Over here we can say amount, and yes, we might want some padding as well, but that is only for a vertical. Use the same over here as well. Okay, so this is something, this hopefully after this it will be much better in a way. It looks, as you can see that the products goes to the top, amount looks like this, and then now what we can do is that let's just try adding some more items. So let's just add a galaxy to this. Okay, and now go back to the cart, check out. Okay, there is some more, another problem as well. Why is it set to be summary? It should not be that. So let's just see what issues I have done. I'll go to my main activity, and it's this. We need this to be this. Okay, we need to not show the bottom navigation, only show for these three. Okay, it does, and yes, it looks much better. Now we have these three, and then we can keep on adding products to this card, and then it will just get down to this section, and once we click on checkout, we will basically start processing the other stuff. So I guess that's done, and then when I get back, it takes me here. When I go over here, the only problem now I can see is that the loader screen, it goes to the right side, and that's most probably because we haven't used this fill max width for this. Okay, now you can see that the loader was also on the in the center, right? And the cart summary is there. So now what the next thing is that we'll just create on, like, click on checkout, and it will ask us to enter some shipping details, addresses and stuff like that. And that is something that we should do in the next video, because I think it has become a very long video. So I hope you like the video, and I'm just wrapping it up over here so that you can absorb what we have done. And in the next video, what we will do is that we will wrap up our order management, and after that we'll start working on some really cool thing like testing, writing some test for the project, and then implementing multi-locale support for this. So things like that will be done in the next two videos. So hopefully you liked the video. If you did, please comment down below, and if you didn't, also please share your feedback in the comment section. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, happy coding. Bye.